Here we go.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? What is going on? Happy Thursday. What's cracking? Hope everyone's having a good Thursday. Let's hope that we all have a great Thursday. What's going on, everybody? What is going on? What's up? What's up with it? What's up with it? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hope everyone's having a great day. Nonchalant? You think I'm nonchalant? What was bracking? Yo, what's going on, guys? Yeah, make sure you guys are in the Discord. The Discord is popping right now. It keeps getting bigger and bigger every single day. And hope you guys are enjoying your time in there. The rankings are going up as we speak, just moving some guys around. Some guys that I didn't think were necessarily going to play seem like they're going to play. It seems like Juwan Jennings is going to play. Seems like Ricky Pearsall is out. It seems like Mac Jones also going to be the starting quarterback. I'm breaking up just a little bit. Okay. Keep my microphone a little bit closer to me then. We'll speak directly into the microphone here. Like some fucking ASMR. What's going on? All right. I hope it's okay now. All right. Hope you guys are doing well. I appreciate you. Also, my internet is just ass. So that is probably the number one problem. Probably the number one problem with just my videos in general. That's why it takes forever for the videos to go up, even though they've been done for a while. I'm doing great, man. Thank you. What's up, Barter? How you doing, man? All right, Debo, T-Mac. We're going to put the question on the screen. Debo, T-Mac, or Marvin Harrison Jr. standard. I'm going Debo. Scattaboo, Pollard, or Michael Carter. I'm going Scattaboo. What's up, Nick? Hope you're doing good. I'm doing great, man. Steelers or the Packers? Fields or Daniel Jones? I would go Fields. I find it very hard to say Justin Fields. I understand. Nick, Justin Fields is not that good. I know he's not. I'm not going to sit here and ever pretend that Justin Fields is like some dominant quarterback that's just going to go out there and just always have a great game. That would be a lie. But while he is definitely very risky, the upside is just so significant to the point where I cannot deny him at this point. Like you kind of just have to close your eyes and start him and hope he doesn't absolutely blow your back out, which is obviously very possible when it comes to a guy like Justin Fields, right? We all know Justin Fields is far from the safest asset you can have on your fantasy team. Start Dak with Pickens or play May. If you have Dak, if you have Pickens, I'd go Dak. I hope that my mic is a little bit better now. Start Ridley this week? Yeah. Do I love Ridley? No. I think after one big game, you can't really be all on the bandwagon, banging the drum, bang, 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 bang. He's back. Hear ye. I don't necessarily think that, but I do think that there's reason to believe that he is at least good enough, right, to be in your lineup. I'm not saying he's a must-start top 12 wide receiver, but if he's in your lineup, you don't at least feel terrible about it, right? That's kind of what I'm coming out here. Scatman or Bill? I'm going Bill. As a fellow Dolphins fan, I pray for your mental health this season. Thank you. So do I, man. It's been so brutal. And the funny thing is, like, I don't know why I expected any better, right? The team's just absolutely cursed. So maybe one day the Dolphins will be good, but probably not, right? Probably not. That's like, the Jets fans being like, maybe one day the Jets will be good. Like, we know the Jets aren't going to be good. We know the Dolphins aren't good. We know the Browns aren't good, right? There's just certain teams that are destined to be failures. The Browns actually probably would be pretty good right now had they have just held on to Baker. But, that's on them. That is on them. Should I trade CeeDee Lamb and Mooney for Waddle and Swift? I think I'd prefer to have CeeDee Lamb and Mooney. Scattaboo or Bill? Bill. Start 3, standard league. Got to start Saquon. Got to start Bill. And I'm going Quinshawn. Henderson or Vidal this week? It's basically a coin flip. I lean Henderson. It's disgusting, though. I mean, like, the Dolphins' run defense is so bad. And, like, I want to just sit here and be like, oh, man, Vidal's going to feast on the Dolphins' defense because I think he can. But at the end of the day, do I trust him to actually do that? Do I trust it? No, I don't. I'm far from trusted. Zay, thank you for the super chat, my man. I appreciate it. What's up, boss? How you doing, man? I am 3-2 and just traded my 1-4 league mate, Kyron Pickens and Addison for Lamb and Chase Brown. Did I win this trade? That is very, 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 very interesting. Because in my opinion, I view Addison basically as just like a random week you can flex him, right? What I mean by that is, do I want Addison necessarily on my team? No. Do I mind if he's on my team? Also, no. Like, kind of just a guy that I feel pretty indifferent on. I don't really have a strong take regarding him. That's just kind of my opinion on him. I think you're going to get some really big games out of him where maybe he scores 25 plus points. I think you're going to get some games out of him where he scores like 2 fantasy points, and you feel a little bit stupid because you actually started him. But obviously, how would you ever know, when it's actually time to play him, right? He's one of those guys where it's going to be very difficult week in and week out to actually make the correct call on if you want to start him or not. And he's going to be pretty frustrating. Now, gun to the head, honestly, I think I would have preferred to have Kyren, Pickens, and Addison, strictly because I do think Lamb is by far the best player in this trade. And I do think CeeDee Lamb has the upside to be the wide receiver 1 rest of season, right? I think you close your eyes, you can really easily see him doing that. I think Pickens' value does fall with CeeDee Lamb back, right? Like, that would be an idiotic statement to come on here and say that that's not going to happen, because based on everything that we've seen so far this season, I would think that that would be the case, right? CeeDee Lamb's the guy. When CeeDee Lamb is back, Pickens will fall. But personally, like, I don't really think, for me, that I can really see Joe Flacco turning this whole thing around. And what I mean by turning it around is like turning it around enough to where Chase Brown could be useful, while Chase Brown's offensive line is absolute trash. Where Chase Brown's offensive line is basically terrorizing him, because even if there is an open lane down the field, like, he's not gonna get to the open lane, right? He's not gonna be able to get out in space because the offensive line crumbles. So personally, I would rather have Kyren, Pickens, and Addison. Do I think that either side easily wins this trade? No. In my opinion, I think this is more of like one of those 50-50 trades where if you blink and the season's over and Chase Brown figures it out and he's like a running back too, and CeeDee Lamb's top 5 wide receiver, that side wins. If you blink, Chase Brown's still like the wide RB 30, CeeDee Lamb's like the wide receiver 8, and Kyren and Pickens, Kyren like a top 12 running back, Pickens like a top 18 guy. It's just a pretty close trade. So for me, I would prefer to have Kyren, Pickens, and Addison, but again, not by a wide margin. Who has more upside this week, Fields or Mac Jones? Thank you for the super chat. For me, it's always going to be the guy that has the upside to run for 150 yards. It's always going to be, in my opinion, Justin Fields. Now, does that mean that Mac Jones is a terrible start? No. Right? We just saw Mac Jones put up a great game with not the correct wide receivers out there, right? Without Ricky, without George Kittle, without Juwan Jennings. And Juwan Jennings should be back this week. So, yeah, I think Mac Jones will have a decent game. And I get the matchup for the Jets is bad this week up against the Denver Broncos, also a game that's overseas. But I would lean with Justin Fields. I think he just has significantly higher upside. Alexander, thank you for the super chat. Full PPR, Jalen, Warren, or Golden, Stafford, or Daniels? Great question. So Jalen Warren is coming back to a very tough matchup up against the Cleveland Browns. I think in terms of matchup just as a whole, I think the Cleveland Browns are going to be one of the worst matchups you could run up against as a running back. But the problem with Matthew Golden is I wouldn't be surprised. What's up, Unemployed? I wouldn't be surprised if Matthew Golden scored 3 fantasy points. I wouldn't be surprised if he scored 10 points. Jalen Warren has yet to really fail us this season. He's kind of just been like this staple rock in your fantasy lineup. Obviously, has Jalen Warren reached his peak? No, like Kenneth Gainwell did have the better game of any running back in this backfield, but I just trust Jalen Warren significantly more. So that's why I would lean with Jalen Warren, even though I do understand the upside for Golden is significant. Stafford or Jaden Daniels, I love Matthew Stafford this week. I have Matthew Stafford ranked relatively high, probably the highest that I've ever had him ranked so far this season. So I'm definitely a big fan of him. But I think at the end of the day, can you really sit a guy like Jaden Daniels, who you drafted that highly? I don't think you can, right? I understand Jaden Daniels hasn't really had that big game yet. I understand that Jaden Daniels hasn't truly uncorked and had that huge game. But I do think Jaden Daniels is in for that game, especially up against the Bears and what might be the highest scoring game of the week. So to me, while there definitely is question marks because of how good Stafford has been, I would go Daniels. Nick Davidson, what's up, my man? What's up, my boy? How you doing? I appreciate you. You've got a great name. Same name as me, of course. In a full PPR 10-man league, who should I flex? Njoku, Judy, Io Manor, Travis Hunter, or Isaiah Bond? Also, little side question. What would be fair? 1-for-1 for Derrick Henry. Who should I flex? Njoku, Judy, Io Manor, Travis Hunter, or Isaiah Bond? Great question. I think I would just lean with Njoku at this point. Njoku found the... One second. I would start David Njoku personally. If it was my team, I would be playing David Njoku. I don't trust Travis Hunter at all. I think Travis Hunter's days of even being like on a lot of people's fantasy teams are kind of numbered. I wouldn't want really anything to do with him, as sad as that might sound. Like, he just doesn't play enough on offense. He doesn't look good at all. Even when he's out there offensively, he has the big play upside, but he just has not been hitting. So he's just a guy I'm not really looking at. I think I'd just go with Njoku because I think he's the most likely out of that group to score a touchdown. I like Isaiah Bond as well as a player, but he's more of a guy that I want to just hold on my bench rather than a guy that I actually want to just go out there and full on bang my chest and be like, yeah, I want to fucking play him this week, right? I don't think that's the case. So I'm going to go Njoku, hope for the touchdown. And then who would be a fair 1-for-1 for Derrick Henry? At this point, Derrick Henry's value is absolutely in the gutter. I have no idea who actually wants Derrick Henry at this point in the season. I think he will bounce back slightly when Lamar Jackson is back and be like a more reliable high-end running back too. But I don't think anyone actually will want to have him on their team. So in my opinion, a fair 1-for-1 for him would be like at this point, as sad as this might sound, like Scattaboo, J.K. Dobbins, Travis Etienne, Quinshawn Judkins. Like Judkins, I guess, probably would be the guy that I would be looking for. A guy like Quinshawn Judkins, a guy like Etienne would be my lean. Shane, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. From 707, I'm going to scroll back and see if you asked a question. Shane, thank you. I appreciate you. Love you long time. It's okay. The super chats are fucking stupid sometimes and they don't work. They don't let you put the question in the chat. They hate to see it. All right, Shane, where's your question? Is my question. Where is your question? Is my question. All right. Shane said. Shane, I think you're going to have to put your question in the chat again because I'm trying to find it and I don't see it. I see you saying that the super chat didn't work and that you're going to leave the question. And then I see you leaving the super chat, but I don't see your question. Can you leave in the chat and then I'll go back to you? Okay, wait. DSK Risk is up next, and then we'll go back to Shane once I can see Shane's question. Just so you guys know, I do answer the normal questions as well. So there's always going to be people like, Nick, are you just a fucking sellout? You only answer questions where people donate now? And yeah, I do answer a lot of donated questions because people pay, and that's why I answer their questions. But otherwise, I do answer the normal questions too. So don't just abandon ship if I don't answer your question instantly. All right. DSK Risk and Shane, please leave your question in chat. Full PPR, need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. I have Bijan, you have Rashad White, you have Chase Brown, and you have Henderson. And then you have BTJ, you have QJ, you got Waddle, Golden, and Sutton. Great question here. So for me, and Spock is obviously answering questions in chat too. And Spock's answer always going to be pretty similar to mine. Spock is a great person to ask questions to. And a nice guy overall too, he's not just some guy that you ask questions to, right? He's a real person, he's not a bot. He's a nice guy. So shout out to Spock. Thank you, Spock, and all the mods in here. So full PPR, I'm going to type this one out because it's way easier for me to type it out. You're definitely playing Bijan. You're not sitting Bijan. You will never sit Bijan. Okay? You have to play Bijan. After that, you have to play Rashad White. You have to play Rashad White. He looks so good without Bucky Irving. Then, at wide receiver, you're playing QJ, you're playing Sutton, and you're playing Waddle, and BTJ is going to be left on the bench. Now, I think BTJ is on the precipice of being a start-worthy option. Why I say he is on the precipice of it is because it seems like he is just knocking on the door of having that good game. He, in my opinion, looked very, 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 very good last week. and the week prior. He seems like the kind of guy that is going to start getting better connection with his teammate, Trevor Lawrence. It seems like they're on the right page now. So I believe heavily in his breakout coming with Trevor Lawrence. But as of right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would rather play Waddle. I would rather play QJ. I'd rather play Sutton over him. And then for the running backs, Bijan and Rashad White. So Bijan, Rashad White for DSK risk. QJ, Sutton, Waddle. Thanks for super chat. And Shane, again, please leave your question in chat. I'm gonna keep looking for you, and when I see it, I'm gonna throw it onto the screen with haste. So thank you for the super chat, Shane. The motivational man with Ramsey, Jay. Thank you so much for the super chat. His question is. Okay. His question is, I'm just putting my rankings in, by the way, on Patreon. They'll be up in a few minutes. Full PPR start, one wide receiver and a flex. Horton, Downs, Haskins, Miller, Vidal. Also, what do you think about, when do you think CeeDee Lamb and Hampton comes back? I think CeeDee Lamb is going to return pretty quickly. Within the next few weeks. Like, I don't think we're going to be sitting here 4 weeks from now and he's not back, right? They didn't put him on IR. Should they have? Maybe they should have, but they didn't. So he should be back soon. In terms of Hampton, based on what I've read, I mean, he's on IR, so at least 4 weeks. Seems like it's not going to be some crazy long hold, meaning like it's going to take way longer than 4 weeks. Like, it seems like he'll be back probably after his IR ends, so 5 weeks from now. So 7, 8, 9, week 11. Obviously, it sucks, and I would say CeeDee Lamb probably comes back next week or the week after. Obviously, it sucks, but I think they'll be back soon. So in terms of your flex, I can't play. Man, I think I would have to go Haskins at the flex because I personally believe Haskins is the running back to have in LA with the Chargers. I think they should be beating the Dolphins. And if they are beating the Dolphins, which is my assumption, which is probably the assumption of all of you guys watching because the Dolphins absolutely suck, they'll be up late in the game and they'll be running the rock. If they are throwing the ball late, then it would be Kamani Vidal. I think they're going to be up. I think they're going to be winning. So the ball is going to go to Haskins. So I would go with Haskins, and I would reluctantly go with Josh Downs. I absolutely love Horton when it comes to fantasy. I think Horton is going to eventually become a super start-worthy asset game in and game out. But what I will say is right now, with him just getting 3 to 4 targets a game, with him clearly being behind Cooper Kupp in the snap counts, it just doesn't seem like something that I want to roll the dice doing and playing him. I just feel like Josh Downs is a little bit safer. So for that reason, I'd lean with Josh Downs. I don't really love any of those guys, but I would lean Josh Downs and I would lean with Hassan Haskins. That would be my answer there. All right. Next question here. Dave Harvey, Brown, Charbonnet, or Dobbs if Pearsall's out. If Pearsall's out, I would probably play Romeo Dobbs just because Romeo Dobbs has the upside to go absolutely fucking banana lands in that matchup. That is just such an easy matchup for wide receivers up against the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals are legitimately a complete and utter fucking disaster of large magnitude. They can't seem to stop anyone. So Dobbs would be my lean. If you wanted to lean with a running back, I would go personally. If you wanted to go running back, I would go with Charbonnet just because I think Charbonnet is going to score a touchdown. I think you're going to be basically every single week, if you're a Charbonnet owner, you're just hoping he scores a touchdown. He's going to see a decent amount of touches, but he's not going to do much with it. It's all about just if he gets the touchdown or not. If he does, you're going to be happy. If he doesn't, you're going to be pissed. And I think that's kind of just going to be how this season is going to go. And it's going to be pretty annoying, but ultimately, that's kind of how I feel about that. I would go with Dobbs for the upside. And if you want to play running back, you go Charbonnet. Full PPR, Fields or Daniel Jones rest of season? Great question. For me, it really just leans with risk tolerance because if it's my fantasy team, based how I play fantasy, I am always looking to have the highest upside player on my fantasy team. I'm always looking to start the guy that I believe is going to score the most amount of fantasy points. I'm not necessarily looking for, a guy who's going to get me 5 to 10 points every single, not that way a quarterback, right? But a guy like Daniel Jones is probably never going to full on screw you over. But a guy like Justin Fields could easily do that, but he's also going to be the kind of guy that can reach that apex and be the reason why you win in the playoffs, putting up multiple games inside the top 3 at the quarterback position, putting up games where he scores 30 plus fantasy points. With how hot Jonathan Taylor has been running, I see it very unlikely that a guy like Daniel Jones is going to be able to do that at a consistent basis. So that doesn't mean that Daniel Jones is an instant cut. That doesn't mean that I think Daniel Jones is a bad option. He's my quarterback 1 in a league, and I'm perfectly fine rocking with him. But I would just prefer the amount of upside that Fields possesses. So I would lean with Fields. Jizzy says, "What's up, my guy? What's going on, man? I appreciate you. I'm 5-0 with Hampton injured, and I have a pretty easy matchup. Should I go Tyron Tracy tonight or Vidal? I'm worried about the Chargers script." I get that. I don't want anything to do with Tyrone Tracy. He's fine to sit on your bench because if something happens to Scatterboo, it's not like Singletary's going to take over, right? It's not like Devin Singletary's magically going to become the fucking RB1 on this team, right? We know that's not going to happen. We know it's going to be Tyrone Tracy. So personally, I would lean with Vidal strictly based off the upside. I don't see the Giants being in a good enough of a game script where we see Tyrone Tracy get a ton of usage. So I would find it pretty hard for me to make a strong argument for you to actually play Tyrone Tracy. So I would just go with the upside of Vidal. I get where you're coming from, but that's how I would lean. Steven, thank you for the super chat. I've got Jacobs and Taylor at running back. I've got Diggs and T-Mac at wide receiver. Lamb is still out on my bench. Who do you flex, Scatterboo or Godwin? I would go with Scatterboo. I don't love the game script tonight for Scatterboo. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, yeah, the fucking Giants are going to play this game real close. I think the Giants are going to get their backs blown out in this one. I think this one is going to be straight up, how's that song where it's like murder on the dance floor? There's going to be murder on the football field. I think. Now, do I hope that happens? No, because I don't really enjoy Thursday night football games or any football game that is that much of a blowout, unless it's the Dolphins, of course. I'd like the Dolphins to blow out every team so I could sleep at night. But I think I would start Scatterboo. I think he's going to get I think he's still the lead running back on the team. I think it's going to be a 70-30 split in his favor. I think he is still going to get a lot of dump offs in this offense. I think you're going to see him get a lot of dump offs late. So I am very much so in favor of him being the guy for you this week. I think Godwin is eventually going to have that big game, but with back-to-back kind of stinker games, why bother risking it when we've already seen Scatterboo perform at a pretty decent level? So for me, that's how I lean. And the rankings are going out on Patreon right now. I'm about to post them. Sorry for the delay. It's always the half PPR rankings that take me the longest. All my leagues are full PPR. It takes me like 2 seconds to think of the full PPR rankings, go through all the analytics and all that. But for half PPR, it's a little bit different. They are going up right now. Publish. Okay. Edit. Just make sure they are up for people that pay for the Patreon. If you're on the Patreon, make sure you check that out. Also, if you're a part of the Patreon, make sure you're in the Discord because there's a Discord-only Patreon chat if you hook things up correctly. Thank you, Mr. Rockout, with your cock out. I appreciate you, my man. Pick 2, Jalen Warren, Bourne, Jennings, and Kendrick Bourne, Jennings, Goddard. Great question. I would personally go. Oh, man. If Jennings is playing, I'm going Jennings. And I'm going with Jalen Warren. If Jennings is out, I'm going Jalen Warren and Kendrick Bourne. I like the 49ers, and I think the 49ers are going to be an offense that just scores a lot of points every single week. Like, even if whether it's Brock Purdy or Mac Jones, seems like it's going to be Mac Jones. I am in love with that. So that would be my answer. I just love the 49ers. I think the 49ers are going to keep on putting up big numbers. I don't really see any way that the 49ers start to slow down in all reality. I mean, they just look so fucking good, regardless of who's healthy or not. And I hope I didn't just jinx them by saying that, but they look so, so good. So I'd go Jalen Warren and Jennings. If Jennings is out, you go Jalen Warren and Bourne. Thank you for the super chat. Money Click, thank you so much. Should I bench Wilson against Surtain? Options are Ridley or Dowdle. Look, if you want to bench him, which I'm going to be honest with you, I am playing Wilson every single week. I don't give a fuck about the matchup. They're going to be down late. You already know. And the garbage time is where these dudes eat. They eat heavy in garbage time. They get heavy targets late. Like Garrett Wilson could have 2 fantasy points in the first 3 quarters. And you already know this man is going to finish with far more points than that and probably end up scoring so many points that you actually win because of him. But if I had Dowdle, I would play Dowdle ahead of him just because Dowdle ran so hot. It's a revenge game up against Dallas in a positive matchup. I would personally go with Rico Dowdle. And now I got to check just to make sure that Shane, make sure you drop your question in chat. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. And if you're having trouble sending it, send it in the Discord and then message in the chat. Like Nick, I put it in the Discord. And then I'll help you even further. Shane, did you put it in the chat? Sent my question, goat. Motherfucker, is it just hidden? I think it's actually just being hidden because I've read every message in the chat and I don't see it. I have a feeling that YouTube is hiding whatever you're saying because you're typing like some slash or some dash or some shit, and YouTube is just hiding it. Which is entirely possible. If you have Twitter, if you have email, Discord, let me know what it is, and I'll answer your question. I'll just read it out from there. I'm sorry that YouTube is giving us this problem here. But I want to answer your question, obviously. I'm not sitting here like, now I get Shane's money. I don't have to answer his question. It's not what I'm thinking, obviously. So please make sure that you let me know how you can get it to me. And then I'll answer. Devonta tonight, Metcalf or BTJ. I think I would go Metcalf. Devontae Smith, dude, he could literally be the wide receiver 5 tonight. Wouldn't be shocked. The game could end. He could be the wide receiver 72 by the end of the week, and I also wouldn't be shocked. Just kind of feels like one of those scenarios where you're playing a guessing game every single week, and it's bad, and it's not fun. So for me, I think I would lean with DK Metcalf. I have DK Metcalf 20, BTJ 21, Devontae Smith 29. So yeah, I'm going to go with DK Metcalf. I think DK Metcalf is going to be a pretty reliable asset going forward. He scored a touchdown in multiple games in a row at this point. So I feel pretty good about him. So I would go with DK Metcalf. Ernesto, 18 full PPR, play Waller or Mason Taylor. I'm going to go Waller. Waller today spoke about how he believes he is going to see even more involvement in the offense. He dominated in the first half. They didn't give him the ball in the second half. I think things will get better for him. So I'm going to go with Waller. And this isn't like an anti-Mason Taylor thought process either because I love Mason Taylor this week inside the top 12. But I got Waller ranked very high. I believe it's my tight end 6 or 5 this week. You guys will see if you're a Patreon member, it's on there. I'll tell you right now. I just have to scroll. The tight end quarterback ranking video comes out on Saturdays. Yeah, he's my tight end 6. I fucking love Darren Waller this week. And Shane, let me know how I can answer your question because if there's like anywhere else you could put the question, or if you can just not type any slashes or something. I don't know why it gets hidden. I have every single thing turned off for the chat strictly because of this. Meaning, like, you can actually type some diabolical things in this chat, and you will get banned if you say these terms. But you can say anything in the chat because I want to get everyone's question, and it still fucking blocks questions, which is so annoying. Rock out and Dobbs and Kelsey or Goddard at tight end. Great question. Okay, Dobbs was a part of that other question. I'm still going Jalen Warren and Bourne. And then at tight end, I'm going Kelsey. I think Kelsey's in for a pretty good game. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game between the Chiefs and between the Detroit Lions. Goddard is on fire. He keeps scoring. One of these games, though, it's going to slow down. So I would just lean with Kelsey. Which DST would you start? Okay, here, Bruce. I'm going to answer Bruce's question first. Start 2, Dak, Drake May, or Caleb Williams. Great question. Dak, Drake May, or Caleb Williams. Now, I am a big fan of all 3 of these guys. If knowing that you're in a 2-quarterback Superflex league with 2 out of those 3 guys, you are probably bricked up, if I'm being honest with you. You are probably as excited as it gets. For me, I got Dak 7, Caleb 8, Drake May 5. My biggest worry for Drake May this week is I have the most concern about Drake May out of all these guys, frankly, is you're going up against the Saints. If the Saints aren't able to play well because now the Patriots defense is playing better, you're kind of in a scenario where Drake May can kind of coast to victory, throw a touchdown or two early, not do shit in the second half, run the ball through Ramondre a million times because they hate Travion Henderson, and then you get out of there with the win. So that's a big worry of mine. Whereas I feel like Dak's game, Caleb's game, going to be more competitive. I think I'm gonna move Drake May down below those guys. I'll update the rankings after because none of these guys play tonight, so it's not like if my rankings change tomorrow, this will like affect someone like, oh my god, and you switch two quarterbacks around. I adjust the rankings all the time. I would go Dak and Caleb strictly because I trust both of those guys' games to actually get to the point where they'll have to be throwing the ball later. And unless Drake May absolutely fillets them early on and fillets them, he's gonna suck them off. As long as he has a good enough game early on, he'll be fine. But I would rather go now. Again, maybe the Saints are much better than I give them credit for, but I trust Dak and Caleb more. So that's the way that we're going to go, Dak and Caleb. And I'm going to answer Shane's question because he just put it in the chat. Shane's question was, which DST do you start? GOAT, thank you so much. Rams or Pats or Steelers? Pick two wideouts, London, Rome, or Tet. And which team you liked on X. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. You sent the message on X. I'm going to pull up my X right now. Pull up my X. Pull up my X. Pull up my X. All right. Thank you. All right. I see your question here. Which team do I like the best? So I'm not going to fucking put his @ on the screen, but it's team 1 is Caleb Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, Rashee Rice, Rome Odunze, Trey Benson, Drake London. Defense is Brandon Aubrey, Tet McMillan, Chuba Hubbard, Tyler Warren, Quinshon Judkins, backup D, Travion or Brian Robinson. Team 2 is Caleb Williams, CMC, Devon Achane, Rashee Rice, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Warren, Rome Odunze, defense Brandon Aubrey, Drake London, Quinshon Judkins. Okay. I think I would prefer the team. Man, I mean, this is close. I think I prefer McBride over Warren rest of season. And I'd prefer Achane over Bucky. I mean, this is close. I would prefer to have the second team just because I think I would rather have Derrick Henry than Chuba Hubbard. And Drake London over Tet McMillan. So, yeah, it's close. Oh, never mind. Tet McMillan and Drake London are on both teams. Which team do I like better? Oh, okay, and there's a third team too. Holy, okay, this is complicating things even further. Oh, I'm going team 2 just because I like Achane over Bucky rest of the season, knowing that Achane's banged up. That's the way I would go. Team 2 is my favorite team. And then which defense, Rams, Patriots, or Steelers? I would go with, I'm just going to check my defense rankings. Rams, Pats, or Steelers? I got Rams 3, so I'd go with the Rams. And then 2 receivers, I'm going London and Rome. I love Tet, but it's London and Rome. Thank you for the super chat. I love you long time. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh. All right. Trade Chase Brown and Browers for Devontae Smith and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Full PPR. Fuck yeah. If you're getting Amon-Ra and Devontae Smith. Brock Bowers may legitimately never be good this season. And as sad as that might sound, I know that sounds sad. It's legitimately could be true. If he's going to deal with this knee injury the whole season, it's going to severely limit him. He's going to keep missing games. I think the right move is to have Amon-Ra and Devontae Smith. I don't even like Devontae Smith. Oh, trade those 3 for Amon-Ra. Oh, okay. I read that. Read wrong. Sorry, BF. Either way, I'm fucking doing it. Either way, I'm doing it. I don't like Devontae Smith. I think Chase Brown is dusty. I think Brock Bowers is just going to be hurt all season. Amon-Ra is really that good. I should have ranked Amon-Ra higher in the summer. I am like Amon-Ra #1 fan. I loved Malik Neighbors. You couldn't have seen that coming though with Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors would have done really well this season had he have not gotten hurt. The if man, right? Like Justin Herbert. Yeah, I want a Mon-Ra. Give me a Mon-Ra. Death beam pointed at Earth. I want Iguodala. I want a Mon-Ra St. Brown. That's my answer. I fucking love a Mon-Ra St. Brown, man. That guy is so consistent every single week. And I understand, like, if you're actually looking at, like, who's the best receiver in the NFL, I don't think he's really even in consideration of being the best, quote-unquote, receiver in the NFL. But NFL and fantasy are so different. Volume, like, Justin Jefferson is light years, shout out to Buzz, ahead of him. But it doesn't matter because Justin Jefferson isn't sucking in passes like this, and he doesn't have a quarterback like Jared Goff who he actually trusts. So, yeah, I would definitely prefer a Mon-Ra in that trade. DS Chris, thank you again for the super chat. If QJ is out, BTJ or Golden loves my quarterback. I don't think Quentin Johnston is going to be out. I am as much of a doctor as Johnny Sins. I will never come on here and pretend like I know 100% if a guy is going to play or not. I read all the news that is out there, and I give my opinion based on all the news. Sometimes the news is wrong. Sometimes, like, it tells you one thing, and that's incorrect. But I would definitely play BTJ. I like Matthew Golden a lot, and I think one of these days you're going to see that big Matthew Golden game. We almost saw that big Matthew Golden game. I think it was up against the Browns, where if he just caught a couple of passes that, like, kind of dribbled out of his hands, or was that up against the Cowboys? I don't know. One of those games, he had like 30 expected fantasy points, and he only had like 7 real points. So I think that big game's coming, but I would lean with BTJ again, just because, again, I really think that big game for BTJ is coming this week. I can just sense it. Everything looks so much better up against the Chiefs for him. So I would go BTJ. Thank you guys for all of the super chats. Does anyone know if Hubbard is out this week? I will tell you right now. Do I know for sure that Hubbard is out? No. I don't think that anyone can distinctly say that at this point. But based on everything that I have read, I don't think that Chuba Hubbard is playing. I do not think that he is playing based on what I've read. And I'm going to read exactly what I read. He missed practice on Thursday with the calf injury. If he gets a limited practice on Friday, he probably plays, but as of right now, I don't think so. Hey, Spock, little help here. Trade Judy or Goddard for Mason and DJ Brown. Yeah, I would do that. I would prefer Mason and DJ more. Traded Teehee for Olave today. Feels good. That feels good in my opinion. Look, I think T. Higgins still has significantly more upside than Chris Olave, because Chris Olave's upside is hinged to Spencer Rattler, and he's just not good. And Olave is not really a big touchdown guy, but he's so much safer. So, yeah, I think that's a good trade. What's good, y'all? Scatterboo tonight or Hashkins? I would go with Scatterboo. Look, I want to trust Hashkins because the Dolphins' defense is so bad, and I think he could have a good game. But I think Scatterboo is just roughly 8,000 times safer. Like, you know what Scatterboo's workload is going to be. You are just guessing. Like, right? I'm just making a educated guess based on what I know about the Chargers backfield. I think Hashkins is going to be the better start, right? So I would go Scatterboo personally. But he don't know. Dart versus Philly or Young versus Dallas. Realistically, I think Bryce Young has a significantly better matchup. I just trust Dart more, so I'd go Dart. Jamar, Tet, Worthy, Allen, and London. Great question. I'm going Jamar, Tet, London. Jamar, Tet, London. That's a good question. Start Scatter, Metcalf, Scat. I'm a scat man. Flex. Bill, Judkins, or Tet. I'm going Judkins. Seems like Bill has the best matchup. Yeah, I mean, I think Bill. Look, I really wanted to come out in that running back rankings video, the running back starts it video as well, and just be like, dude, Bill's going to fucking go out there and eviscerate. Bill's going to go out there and score 1 million fantasy points. Bill this, Bill that, Bill Nye, the science guy, right? And go crazy because I love Bill, and I think Bill's a great player. But, dude, would anyone be shocked if they go back to a 3-way fucking backfield of death in Washington? Like, I wouldn't be, sadly. So, while I do have to play Bill this week, and I do have him ranked way higher, I would go Judkins personally. Yeah, I would go. Man, Bill Nye, the science guy, versus Cam. I would go Bill. Do I trade Nico and Kendre for Garrett Wilson? Jay Jettis and Nico are on bye. See, I don't think I could do that. Just because, like, kind of feels like if the Saints keep losing, someone's gonna come calling and be like, "Please send me Alvin Kamara." Like some team that direly needs a running back. Like imagine Alvin Kamara on the Chiefs, right? Imagine that. And he's not worth a lot at this point. Like you just trade a half-eaten bag of potato chips for him. So that's why I would hold on to Kendra, because I think Kendra would be very useful in that scenario. If I wanted like the safer bet, I guess you would want Garrett Wilson. So it's kind of a toss up, but I think I would hold personally. Hold the door. Shout out to Hodor. Stafford or Knicks? Great question. I think the answer is Stafford. Yeah, it's Stafford. Stafford. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens just absolutely suck. As sad as that might be to say, they're terrible. Like and subscribe. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. Factual. Play Dak, Dart, or Gabriel. I'm playing Dart. Man. Like, I like what I saw to Gabriel. I hope Gabriel's like legit. Actually, I don't. Look, I'm a Shadur Sanders truther, so actually I don't hope he's legit. But in reality, like for fantasy, yes, I do hope he's legit. So I do think he's going to be relatively decent going forward. But to me, anytime the Browns play up against like the Steelers, that kind of feels like the kind of game where it's like 14-10, and like you saw it twice on Red Zone, and you're like, wow, what the like. People actually watch this, right? And I guess that's probably how people feel about the Dolphins, right? Like, Nick, you actually sit there on Sunday and watch the Dolphins for 4 hours? Like, yeah, I do. Okay. So I hope you guys got what I was saying, though. But yeah, I'd go Dart. Point of view and the impact of narrative in a paragraph. Summarize to the novel to the point you have read. Bro, are you sending your fucking homework question to me? You think I'm going to answer your homework, Dan's? I remember doing homework back in the day. In high school, college, graduated college. I know, probably the biggest dumbass to ever graduate college, but I did. Shout out to me. All right. I am Shadur Sanders. Fuck yeah, baby. Let's go. I'm starting Dart in one of my leagues. Not thrilled. Yeah, I get that. Bill or ETN? ETN. Live is my flex. Stars of London Pickens. Yeah, that was good. Full PPR. Oh, I think he was just trying to copy paste a question. He might have copy pasted his homework, which is funny if that's what happened. Full PPR start one at the flex. AJB, BTJ, Tent McMillan, or Judkins. I'd go Judkins. Theo Johnson or Juwan Johnson this week. I would prefer Theo. Waddle or Worthy. I would lean Waddle. Anyone you would be happily trading Igbuka away for? No. No. Look, unless you could trade Igbuka for Amon-Ra St. Brown, which you're not going to be able to, or you could trade Igbuka for like JSN or Puka, which you're not going to be able to do. Like, Igbuka, to me, is like a top 5 wide receiver going forward. I banged the drum so heavily for him this summer. I didn't get him in a single fucking league. Pretty sure my buddy John took him in like every league. Fucking dickhead. So I don't have him in a single league, but dude, he's so good. Start Zay Flowers or Ja'Cory Bill. Also, are these good trade offers? Tet McMillan for Scat and Keenan Allen for Debo. I prefer Debo and I prefer Tet. And I would prefer Bill this week. Sam Donald or Dart. I would play. The way I look at this is very simple. Do you want to be safe or do you want to be risky? If you want to be safe, you play Darnold. Darnold is probably going to score 15 to 16 fantasy points. We saw his best game last week. That, like, when I say we saw his best game, I think that's going to be the best game of the season. I don't think he's ever going to come close to touching that. I don't think it's very likely that he comes close to touching that with the running backs that they have. But I think he's the kind of guy that's reliable. He's reliable. You play him, he does what he does. You're happy, and you call it a day. You go to sleep. It is what it is. Good game. Dart, I could see Dart having a garbage time bonanza here. I could see Dart absolutely shitting the bed and being terrible. I would lean with Dart just for the upside. Jeremy, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Pick one in the flex. JMO, Hassan Hashkins, Vidal, Tyron Tracy, Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, to me, I can't. What is my name? What's your name? Creed. My name is Nick. Notorious. Nick really is what I would prefer you guys to call me. Nick, Nickelodeon. Yeah, so Andrews to me is kind of off the radar. Not because I think that Andrews is now washed, because he did prove to us in week 3 and 4 that he is actually still Still a good tight end, right? Isaiah Likely's back also, but that doesn't even really throw a wrench into things. It's really just the quarterback situation. Like if Lamar Jackson was out there, which he's not going to be, like I would be shocked. I would really be shocked if we end up seeing him out there on Sunday. That's kind of how I feel about things. Um, so Andrews is just out of the equation because of that. Like Cooper Rush just stinks. Let's be honest. He's not very good. So in my opinion, I would go with JMO. JMO has been invisible for a lot of parts this season. Jameson Williams has done nothing at points in the season. He had really just one peak game a couple of weeks ago. But when you're in a matchup up against the Chiefs where it could legitimately, there could be 70 points scored, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Am I saying that there will be? Could there be? Yes, there could be. So my opinion would be to play Jameson Williams. I like Jameson Williams a ton this week. I like him a lot for the upside. I understand that there is a lot of risk, but I think I would lean with the guy with the highest upside, and that would be JMO. Especially when look, Tyron Tracy's a huge risk. I don't even think he might be scoring 3 fantasy points tonight. Hassan Vidal, very big question marks. I would just go with JMO. I think JMO's like as crazy as that might be, I think he's the safest bet. I don't like how the national media is acting like the Ravens can't rip off 10 straight wins. Look, I don't think they're ripping off 10 straight wins. Could they? Of course. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like the Ravens are dead. But yeah, I mean, I agree with what Garrett just said. The Ravens defense is legitimately terrible. I don't know how they're this bad. They shouldn't be this bad. And look, maybe you say, oh, it's been tough matchups. You just got filleted by CJ Stroud, right? It wasn't even close. CJ Stroud reamed you, right? CJ Stroud was hitting you from the back. How you like that? So look, I'm not some Ravens hater. I am not a guy that hates the Ravens. I'm not a guy that hates any team except for the Jets, the Patriots, and the Bills. And I talk to you straight about those teams. I just hate them because they're in the AFC East with the Dolphins. But I think the Ravens could come back. But let's be honest. Like if the defense keeps playing like this, how could you even remotely trust them to go make a deep run in the playoffs? Like Josh Allen's gonna break you like a Slim Jim, right? Like if it's Mahomes, if they make it, Mahomes gonna crack you over the head. For the Ravens, and I look, I'd like to see the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I like the Ravens. As a Dolphins fan, though, I kind of hope that they really do bad and they fire Harbaugh, and then Harbaugh becomes the Dolphins head coach. That's what I would like to see. JL, thank you for the super chat, my man. I appreciate you. Is Waddle plus Swift for Kamara and Sutton a good trade? Yes. The way that I want you to look at this, in my opinion, is who is the best player in this trade? The best player in this trade is Sutton. Sutton, in my opinion, is a top 12 wide receiver rest of season. Who is the worst player in this trade? It is probably DeAndre Swift. So you're losing. If you're getting Sutton and Kamara, I'm doing this. I think Kamara and Swift are pretty similar because the fact that Swift is a little bit safer, but Swift's ceiling is very low. Like on a good day, like Kamara could catch the ball literally 9 times, and we saw it last season. That wouldn't be a shocker. So personally, I would prefer Kamara and Sutton. I think Waddle and Swift are fine, and I do think technically if you wanted like Swift might be a little bit safer than Kamara. Neither of those guys are very exciting though, in my opinion. Like I don't think you're waking up any week and being like, wow, I'm so happy I get to play Kamara, or wow, I'm so happy I get to play Swift at this point in the season. But if it's my team, I would prefer to have Sutton and I would prefer to have Kamara. Dave, thank you for the super chat. Full PPR, McConkey versus Dobbs or Golden tight ends, Njoku versus Tongs. Great question. Njoku, I got in the top 12. Tongs, I got in the top 18. I like what I've seen out of Jake Tongs, especially if I mean, Ricky's definitely out. Like, if Juwan Jennings misses, I think I like him more. Njoku's a touchdown-dependent bet, but it seems like Dylan Gabriel likes to throw the ball to the tight end position, so I would be fine leaning on Njoku. And then McConkey versus Dobbs is really just kind of a thought process of how safe do you want to be? Like McConkey, if McConkey, blah blah blah. It sounded like a fucking rooster. If McConkey can just be what he was last week, most weeks, you're going to be happy. It seems like the Chargers wide receiver room is going to be flipped on its head every single week. You could blink and Ladd McConkey could have 3 points. You could blink and Ladd McConkey could have 30 points. And one of the guys is probably going to be a bust every single week. And earlier on in the season, it was very easy to figure out. You play QJ, you play Keenan Allen, you get your fantasy points, you get out of there. Now we're kind of at the point where you play all of them, and one of them is going to screw you, and you don't actually know which one is which. Now, I do love the matchup for Romeo Dobbs, but he's coming off of an absolute heater where he scored 3 touchdowns. He's probably going to cool down. I would prefer Ladd, and I would prefer Ninja. Thank you for the super chat. What up? What up, Rel? How you doing, man? Josh Allen is ranked quarterback 1 this week. I agree with you. Josh Allen is going to be my quarterback 1, ranked basically every single week. Not because he's guaranteed to be the quarterback 1 every single week, but because right now without Lamar Jackson, he is the safest bet at the quarterback position every single week. Yo, what's up, Nick? How you doing? How are you doing, Forrest? How you doing, my man? Chase Brown, Jalen Warren, Haskins, Ramondre, Jalen Warren, Allen or Dak. I would go Allen. Full PPR, Zay or Devontae Smith. I would go with Zay. But Devontae Smith's a little bit safer. Actually, I would go Devontae Smith. Wandale or Hollywood, also Wandale or Stevenson. I would go Wandale and Wandale. Yeah, Baltimore D is decimated due to injuries, but also like, come on, even with the injuries, you would have expected them to look a little bit better, in my opinion, last week. Just traded Quentin and Shakir for Kittle. Thoughts? I like that. I do like it, but I don't know, man. Quentin Johnson's been pretty good. I don't love it. I like it. Start, bench, and kick these 3 quarterbacks for the rest of the season, please. Dak, Love, Caleb. I'm starting Dak for the rest of the season. We're talking rest of the season. I'd prefer to have Dak. The Dallas Cowboys have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They have a sorry excuse for a defensive unit in the National Football League. They are getting plowed game in and game out. That is a defense. Like, if I teamed up with 10 of you guys, we made an 11 team. We have 11 people, right? That's how many people on the fucking football field. And we went up against them. We may be able to get a couple yards. And just the fact that we can get a couple of yards is enough for you to know that that defense is straight cheeks, okay? They have a very bad defense. That is very concerning for going forward. And we've been seeing that when you have a bad defense like that, you have to throw a lot. And even with Javonte playing so well, they're going to have to keep throwing. Caleb would be the sit because I think that coming out the bye week, we're going to see Ben Johnson just look better. And I think the offense is going to improve week in and week out. They've got a new head coach, a second-year quarterback. It's a building process there with Caleb. Jordan Love kind of, to me, just feels like if you're in a 2-quarterback league and you're playing him as your quarterback 2, you feel good, right? You know what he's going to do. He's going to be fine, right? But to me, his upside is limited by the fact that they don't have a clear wide receiver 1. They have a running back that's super dominant, and they don't really have a lot of red zone weapons outside of Tucker Kraft and Josh Jacobs. And if they're giving the ball to Josh Jacobs, it's probably a handoff. So I don't think Jordan Love is bad by any means. I don't want to come off as like some Jordan Love hater because I do think Jordan Love's a very good real life quarterback, right? The biggest difference between real life and fantasy, though, is in real life, you want a quarterback that A, is running, and if they can't run, their defense sucks, so they're throwing a lot, or they're just really good that it doesn't matter, right? Like a Patrick Mahomes. And that's kind of the problem with the Packers. When you have an elite defense like the Packers, in my opinion, and you're able to shut down games, you don't have to throw the ball a lot late, right? And you can kind of just coast to a win where Jordan Love plays good in the real life game. He is not making bad decisions. He's hitting the receivers in stride. He's making all the right decisions to not turn the ball over, to not give the game to the other team. But he's not great for fantasy because he doesn't necessarily have to throw those crazy amount of yards like a guy like Caleb may have to do, or a guy like Dak. So start Dak, sit Love, start Dak, sit Caleb, kick Love. Kick him. All right. Dart or Love. This week, I think I'm going Love. Yeah, Love against Cincy. Greg, thanks for the super chat. G-Reg. Hey, coach, what's going on, man? Pick a flex. Haskins, Bourne, Downs. Great question. Look, I think one of Haskins or Vidal are going to put up a good game. I think if you could guarantee that you knew which one it was, Like, if you saw the future and you were like, Nick, it's Hashkins, I'd be talking about Hashkins super positively. But how do we know for sure, right? I feel like I know it's Hashkins, but it could be just a 50-50 split at death to where neither guy truly elevates, even though they have such an easy matchup against the Dolphins, and they both get like 12 points, and you get out of there feeling okay if you started either guy. Or like a seal, maybe one of those guys goes out there and drops a 25 bomb, and the other one scores like 2 fantasy points. I think that's also in the range of outcomes. So with the range of outcomes being so crazy in each direction, I think I would rather just play Kendrick Bourne. Mac Jones seemingly going to be the quarterback this week. Mac Jones and Big Cock Brock Purdy have a very good connection together. So that makes me feel very good about Bourne. Again, if you told me Ricky was in, then it wouldn't be Bourne. If somehow miraculously he rises from the death like the Undertaker and he plays, then I would play Hashkins in that case. But assuming Ricky's out, it's Kendrick Bourne. Thank you for the super chat, Ray. I appreciate you. Notorious. What is up? What's going on? Stevenson, Spears, Pacheco, Henderson, Drake May, or Bo Nix. Packers defense, Patriots defense, and thank you. No problem. I would have to go with the Packers. Last time the Packers went up against Joe Flacco, crazy they have to play him twice in the same season. Now, would be very funny if the Packers lost twice to Joe Flacco in the same season. You've been Flaccoed. That would be very funny. But yeah, it's the Packers. The Packers defense is very good. They're going up against an offensive line that's super soft. They're going up against a quarterback that can't move. So they're going to tee off on him. And I think it's almost like a death sentence. Death sentence. Shout out to that guy that does the street beefs. But I think that it's really like a death sentence there for Joe Flacco. So I love the Packers. Drake May or Bo Nix. I like Drake May better. I think both guys are going to kind of cruise to victory for this week. But I just trust Drake May a little bit more. He's just been kind of more reliable this season. Both guys have been fine this year. Like, you're not upset if you drafted Bo Nix. You're not upset if you drafted Drake May. I just trust Drake May a little bit more. And I think he's going to actually find the end zone like he didn't last week. And I think with Stephon Diggs kind of getting more juiced up in this offense, I think that's really positive for Drake May. And then Stevenson, Spears, Pacheco, or Henderson. I have Henderson ranked ahead of Ramondre. I think I'm gonna have to switch that. No, I have Ramondre ranked ahead of Henderson. I don't want to play Spears because I don't even think he's guaranteed to get 30% of snaps. Pacheco, he's going to lead the snaps, but if Kareem Hunt's going to score all the touchdowns, what's even the point? I'm going to go with Ramondre. I can't stand Ramondre Stevenson because, like, the guy is so bad. He runs slow. He has fumbling issues. Gibson gets hurt. He's on the IR, and yet still, Ramondre is going to score 2 touchdowns, right? He's just going to. You just know he's going to, right? You know he's going to. And it's going to piss you the fuck off. And they're going to be up against the Saints running the ball late. So I'm going to go with Stevenson. It feels disgusting. It should be Henderson. And one of these days, I think Henderson's going to have that big game. I don't want to play Stevenson, but you have to. You're going Stevenson. You're going Draco May. And you're going with the New England. I spoke over myself. You're going to go Packers. You're going to go Draco May. And you're going to go Ramondre Stevenson. Thank you for the super chat, Anonymous. I appreciate you. Good, sir. Nick, thinking of dropping Juwan Johnson for Mason Taylor, but the waivers don't clear till tomorrow on the 12th in priority. Should I play Theo tonight or play Juwan, assuming I don't get Taylor? Now, that's a tough question. If Mason Taylor hasn't been picked up already and your waivers already ran once, the odds of him getting picked up now is pretty low. So I think you're probably fine just waiting and getting Mason Taylor. I would prefer to have Mason Taylor over Juwan Johnson at this point due to the fact that what's his name is back now, Taysom Hill. And I think that just throws another wrench into things that just makes it so much grosser. And Juwan Johnson's been on a bit of a downward spiral. If you think Mason Taylor will be picked up, then yes, like, you know your league better than I do, right? I'm just putting myself in your shoes. What I would personally do is I'm assuming that, hey, if the waivers went through one, if he was on waivers and it went through once and then the waivers reopen again and then they lock down, if that's how it works and someone didn't pick up Mason Taylor before, they're not going to pick him up again. So you should be able to get him. So that's what I would do. I would just pick up Mason Taylor. If you think he's going to get picked up, then you play Theo Johnson. Force, my man, thank you for the super chat. Forgive me if I sound crazy, But at this point, I'm thinking of starting Jaylen Warren over Trey McBride. What do you think, bro? I agree with you. And the reason why I agree with you is because Kyler Murray isn't a lock to play this weekend. And if Kyler Murray is playing, he's going to be more banged up, right? So you have a banged up version of Kyler versus a fully healthy version of Daniel Jones. I just feel better with Daniel Jones than I do with Kyler Murray. Now, I'm not saying that Trey McBride is a fucking must-sit tight end, right? Why would I say that? There's been nothing to believe that that is the case, that you need to be sitting him. But I think you're going to feel a lot better if you sat him compared to here, wait one second. I'm just answering a Patreon question. Tongs versus Theo Johnson. Someone just asked. Tongs. I have Tongs ranked higher, so I would go Tongs. Great question. QJ. Okay. So what I was saying really was McBride, there's just more question marks with it. There are more question marks with McBride compared to with Warren. Doesn't mean that if you have Trey McBride, you should get rid of him. Doesn't mean that Trey McBride is useless. I still have Trey McBride as top 4 tight end, but I have Warren ranked ahead of him. I have Warren ranked 2, McBride 4. So no, I don't think that's crazy. I think that's a good decision to make. Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Caleb Williams, starter sit AJ tonight. Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. When we talk about AJ Brown, is Kyler Murray out? We don't know yet. What I will say about Caleb Williams, what I will say about AJ Brown is very simple. AJ Brown is legitimately one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. He is one of the most skilled wide receivers in the NFL. He has a great build for a wide receiver that will dominate in the NFL. He is on the wrong team to have weekly great success. I am not saying that he is struggling because he's bad. He is struggling because of the fact that the team around him doesn't get him the ball correctly. Like Jalen Hurts isn't hitting him correctly. He ain't hitting that right, okay? And while I do think for most of you guys, you just have to fucking play. You just have to play him, right? For most of you guys, you have to play AJ Brown. And I would be fine doing so, okay? Because you drafted him, you kind of just sit in the bed you shit in, okay? You sleep in the bed, you screwed over, right? If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But the upside is too high for a lot of you to sit him, so I would start him. Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Caleb Williams, that's a very close question. Sam Darnold is more of the, you get what you get and you don't get upset. He scores just 16 fantasy points. You get it. You already knew that coming in. He's probably doing it, okay? Daniel Jones, on the other hand, has been very more up and down, and Caleb has been pretty up and down as well. I would lean with Caleb up against the Washington Commanders. I think that game has the making of being potentially the highest scoring game of the week, and thus, for that reason, I want him in my lineup. So I would go Caleb Williams, and I would start A.J. Brown. I know it feels gross. I know it's disgusting. I don't love it. There's a reason why all summer I went on a fucking campaign telling everyone not to draft him. I didn't take him in a single mock draft. I said, I will die on the hill of fading him, and I did, and people call me stupid. They say, Nick, how can you not draft A.J. Brown? He's so good. And yeah, he is good. But I would play him tonight if I had him, though. Are we still rolling with Bourne? I haven't heard anything about the 49ers receivers. Yes, I would, because Ricky Rolex seems to be out. Drop Hawkinson for Mason Taylor. I would. Start to sit Jamar this week. Jamar is another one of those guys, just like A.J. Brown, where you die on the hill with him. You die on the hill of, this is one of the best receivers in the NFL. I'm going to keep playing him. Is Joe Flacco noticeably better than Jake Browning? No, he's not. And if anyone tells you that, they are lying straight to your face. They are lying straight to your face. I preferred it to be Jameis. I am depressed that it is not Jameis, because Jameis would have had T. Higgins and Jamar Chase scoring 7,000 fantasy points. You're starting Jamar. Bourne or Wandale. Hope Geno Smith plays smarter passing to Jacoby Myers. Dude, he's just an idiot. He is just stupid. Jennings is back, it seems like it. I don't like starting Jamar this week. I get that. I don't think you're crazy for being like, oh, I don't trust Jamar. I don't trust him either, but I'm playing him. Zach Ertz or Darren Waller? Thank you. Buck Snacks. I appreciate you. Long time. Love you long time. Great question. It's Darren Waller. Zach Ertz is on a 2-game skid or 3-game skid. Darren Waller is on the rise. They have already made it clear that Darren Waller is going to be seeing more looks this week. Darren Waller kind of has, in my opinion, the upside to legitimately lead the Dolphins in fantasy points this week. Like, it would not shock me, I guess, in terms of the receivers, if he outscored Jalen Waddle. Like, I don't know what the Giants were doing, making him play fullback and stuff. Darren Waller looks like one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Now, could this completely crash and burn? Yes. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh man, if I have Darren Waller, you're just locked in with a high-end tight end star. Like, of course not. You're not locked in with that for the rest of the season. But right now, you play the hot streak. You ride out the player who's on fire, and that's Darren Waller. Back-to-back big games. I think he can do it again. So that would be the way that I would lean. I would lean his way. That's the way. I like it. Darren Waller, Devontae Smith or Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston, assuming he plays, I think he will play. Again, I'm not a doctor. You can do your own research, but I think I think QJ will play from what I've read. Real quick, we'll just Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston. Fuck. Quentin Johnston Roto World. And then we're going to keep spam answering questions. I got you guys. Quentin Johnston, hamstring limited again on Thursday. Johnson continues participating as positive regarding his week 6 availability. If active, the number 2 target earner has a wonderful soft spot matchup against the Dolphins' friendly defense. It would be great to see Johnson practice in full. Yeah, so I think he's leaning more towards playing. So I would lean with putting him in my lineup. But I got to edit my own fantasy lineup now. Njoku over Fannin agreed. Njoku or Ertz, I would go Njoku. Quentin Johnston's questionable. Yep. Drop Jawan to pick up and start Theo, Tongs, or Ingram. I would be fine dropping Jawan for Theo. Traded Ladd and Michael Carter for London. Thoughts? Love it. If you're getting London. Pitts or Fannin in PPR. Pitts, Chase Brown or Shaheed. Shaheed. Make sure you guys are on the Discord. Flowers or Smith. I would lean with Smith. Thank you for the super chat, Droid. I appreciate you. Theo, Andrews, AJ, or Mason for tight end. Pick one. Great question. Theo Johnson loves the end zone. Theo Johnson is addicted to the end zone. He has scored 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games, I believe. He looks great, and I'm happy for him. I really am. But it's my team. I want Mason Taylor, a guy that commands a large target share, a guy that was hurt in the offseason and is now healthy. To me, it just seems like he's like a pretty clear bounce back candidate. So with him playing so well over the last 2 weeks, I would be very hard pressed to sit him. So I would play Mason. I think Mason's going to command a very large target share in this offense going forward. So I would go with Mason. He's like the clear number 2 receiver on this team. The clear number 2 receiver on this team behind Garrett Wilson. So yeah, I feel very good about Mason Taylor. Start Jamar Chase confidently. I mean, of course I'm not confident in it, but like Spock says, yes, he might be more confident than I am, but you're going to play him. Like there's no way I drafted Jamar Chase 101 and I'm going to sit him. Right? It's really just that simple. He's way too good of a player. Way too good of a player. Flex 1, Pollard, Chase Brown, Wandale, Gainwell, Juwan Jennings. I would play Wandale. Goddard, Mason Taylor, or Kyle Pitts. I got Mason Taylor. Captain Spock, help me. Scottaboo or DJ Moore. Scottaboo. Joe Flacco has to learn the Bengals play still. He'll be fine, dude. He's been in the NFL for so many years. They're going to give him a playbook that's easy. I'm just worried that Patrick Surtain completely locks down Wilson. I mean, yeah, I think that's possible. I don't think coming on here and saying that that's impossible would be stupid, right? But look, the way Wilson has been getting it done is a lot of garbage time work, right? A lot, like if they're down big, you're not going to see Surtain fully fucking locked in at the end of the game. Like he's not, if the game's already in hand, he's not going to be super dialed in to the point to that point where Garrett Wilson can't get the points done. So I'm fine with Garrett Wilson. Kraft or Henry? Great question, Caitlin. I'm going Kraft. I love Kraft. Good luck this week. Yep. Good luck to everyone. Thanks, Nick. No problem. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Vidal or K9 or Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. I think I would just play both Seahawks guys. Patrick Surtain guarding Wilson. Yeah, but I still think Garrett Wilson's going to get fed. Like, the way the Jets play is they like turtle over for the first half, and then they just wake up. They come alive Frankenstein style in the second half, and then they just look like a much improved team, even though they're like not that good, but they make you feel like they're good because they backdoor themselves into a big game. So that's just kind of how I feel. All right, I need a quarterback for next week in my one league. Maybe I want Caleb. I think I'm just going to get rid of Mark Andrews. Pick up Caleb. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Get rid of Mark Andrews. Get the fuck off my fantasy team, bitch. And then I'm going to put Waller in. This team's looking good. All right. Yeah, Josh Allen's on bye next week, so I need another quarterback. Scatterboo, Bill, Marvin, Darren Waller, pick 2. I'm gonna go Bill, and I'm gonna go Darren Waller. Bill. Yeah, you have Kraft 4, Henry 5. I have it. I'm pretty sure I have it the exact same. Yes, I do. Oh wait, no, actually I have Kraft. I think I have Kraft 3. Yeah, I have Kraft 3, Hunter Henry 5. Love you too. If you could answer that chat, I'm at work. Theo Johnson or Evan Ingram. Theo Johnson. You're 3 and 2. Not too bad. Haywell or Dobbins? Bro, am I stupid? Who the fuck is that guy? Probably Dobbins. Jennings, Waddle, Haskins need 2. Jennings and Waddle. Can't believe I'm 0-4. Dude, that's just how fantasy goes. Like, you could be just pissed off at yourself. Oh, Hawks. The fuck? Yeah, you can be pissed at yourself, but fantasy just goes that way sometimes. You're not always going to win. That's just kind of how I think about fantasy football. It does suck, though. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Hurts or Stafford? Hurts. Scatterboo. I would go Scatterboo and Darren Waller. Hurts or Stafford? Hurts. Week 9 is the trade deadline. Yes, sir. Chat, Rashad White or BTJ? I would go Rashad White. Tet, Waddle, Jennings, Haskins. I would go Tet and Waddle. See you, Brian. Hey, bro, would you rather start Drake London or Deebo Samuel? Drake London. One more week of DJ Moore or Hunter Henry at the flex. I would go Hunter Henry. As sad as that sounds. Jones, Penix, Donald, or Murray. I would go Jones. 6-point passing touchdown league. Ertz or Taylor. I would go Taylor. Dobbins, Bill, Rico, Rashad White. I would go with Rico and Rashad White. Should I trade Devontae Adams for Judkins? I'm super weak at running back. Yeah, I would be fine doing that. And I would be fine doing it right now. Lad McConkey, Montgomery, Flowers, Romeo Dobbs, Lad, Zach Charbonnet, Trey Tucker, Dallas Goddard, Sharbs, Wandale Robinson or Hunter Henry. Wandale. Wandale. I'm getting Rashi Rice back on like all my teams next week. He is my fucking savior outside of Jesus, of course. And I need him. I need him bad. Pause. We need all the quarterbacks this week to throw a lot of. Yeah, that's a fact, dude. We need that. We need the quarterbacks to fucking lock in one time. Lock in one time for us, Thanks, brother. No problem. Suns and 4. You the actual Suns and 4 guy? If you are, that's fucking hilarious. I would go Golden or Harrison. I'm going Maserati Marv, baby. Suns and foe. Wandale, Higgins. I think I've seen you before. Wandale, Higgins, McLaurin, or Bourne. Need 2. I would go Wandale and Bourne. Can you type in chat? Oh, sorry. Theo Johnson. Sorry. Is Jackson Dart to play tonight? He's fine. Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels since he's facing the Bears. Josh Allen. Good luck, everyone. Yes, sir. You are the Suns and 4 guy? That's fucking hilarious, bro. Suns and foe. Suns info. That video was so fucking funny. My one buddy, Ben, is a big Suns fan. I'll let him know you were in here. He'll appreciate that. That's so funny. Suns and foe, baby. All right. Good luck this week, Nick. Thank you. Rice needs to go off facts, dude. I need Rice so bad. Tuning in Thursday Night Football. Thanks for lineup help. See you, Chris. I appreciate you. Bengals give up 15 fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Yeah, they're a great matchup. Hey, Nick. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you. I do feel a little bit better now. I felt fine like all week. It's just my nose has been messed up. I have Trey McBride as well, offering Judkins or Travis Etienne is a good trade. Okay. They want to trade for your Tyler Warren. Yeah, I'd be fine getting McBride and Judkins. That would be a good trade for me. I'd be happy with that. Let's go to week 6. Yes, sir. Lost Neighbors, Hill, and McLaurin have been hurt. Have Bijan and JT need wide receiver depth. Which of these two should I trade? I would prefer to trade away Travion Henderson for a receiver. That is tough, though. I benched Theo Johnson this week for Tug Craft. I agree with that. All right. Thank you guys for watching. It is 8:15. So the game is locked. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much. I'm going to go to my buddy Joe's house. Shout out to Joe. He was the officiant of my wedding, going to his house to watch the game. Shout out to Joe. Thank you guys. Good luck. Good luck to you, Raider, as well. Love you guys. I appreciate you. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with a video. And I'll see you guys on Sunday with the stream. Good luck, Nick, Brian, the rest of the fantasy fam. Join the Discord. Yeah, make sure you guys are in the Discord. I am going to be at my buddy's house, so I won't be as much in the Discord, but I will link the Discord. Fins up, baby. Go Dolphins. Seahawks. Thank you, Knicks. Tip top. Thank you, Joshua. See you guys. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. Love you long time. Have a great one. Peace out. Boy.